What's up, Marvel fans? We're the Hills Maniacs, and if you're like us, you love going back and rewatching all the movies in the MCU again and again because, there's so much fun to watch that.
Some of them.
Well, yeah, some of them, I guess. Some more than others, but. But have you ever sat back and thought about, like, one specific moment or scene from each of these movies that really stood out to you as, like, the best in the whole movie? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today as we discuss what we believe was the best moment from Captain America, the First Avenger. So we'll start with you, Clay. What was your best moment? What do you think was the best moment from Captain America, the First Avenger?
See, the thing is, with Captain America, any of them really, it's hard to choose.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's
the best moment because all three of them are good movies. I mean, I like The Winter Soldier the best, but I do like all three Captain America movies, and these ones are hard to choose the best moment. But I think the best moment for me would be when Captain America, kind of disobeys the orders of his lieutenant or colonel, whatever he was, and ends up going to try to rescue the prisoners at the Nazi camp or wherever the Hydra camp, and look for Bucky, where he ends up then facing Johann Schmidt, who is actually Red Skull, and there was just a lot of cool action scenes there, and he ends up rescuing over, I think they said 400 people or whatever. I don't know if that was just at that camp or just in general.
Yeah, he rescued like a lot of different soldiers that were captured.
So it was just one of those scenes that it was just like, this is awesome. Like this guy is like gonna be a huge deal in the in the series. And so
you're right. I mean, and that scene too, it's like it really shows you what what Steve Rogers mainly is all about. Like the type of person he is, that he's willing to sacrifice himself or even get himself into situations that no other people wouldn't normally think about, just to save not only his friend but a whole group of other people as well.
Right.
And even disobeying orders and everything else, like going against the grain. We see that in like all his movies, really. Like he has to go against officials or people that are commanding him, telling him what to do, in order to like get the result that he wants. And he has to do that in a way that's like, it still makes him a good person because he's doing it for the right reason. And this was really like the start of that, like this scene. Because you kind of see that in, see what he's willing to do and put himself through and everything else.
Right, and I mean, he does it without his vibranium shield. I mean, he still technically has a shield, but it's the one that he was using in the plays where he was pretending, well, not pretending, but he was playing Captain America as like a comedy act, but he didn't have his vibranium shield yet, and he still managed, because he was a super soldier, to rescue this many people. So it was just one of those scenes that it was like, this is awesome, and then it's set up for the final battles when he goes back and they end up fighting against other
and even doing
Hydra people.
And even doing these things too, it's like he ends up getting the respect that, like, when he comes back, everybody that like didn't really believe in him, or even like his colonel or whatever, like basically congratulated him on doing that instead of punishing him for it and everything else. Like, so he kind of got the respect that he earned, essentially, or the respect that he should have gotten from the get-go, because they kind of underestimate him. That's the whole theme of the movie, is like, he's this scrawny kid at the beginning and he gets underestimated and everything else. Nobody thinks he's good enough, and then like he does things like this, like he jumped on a fake grenade, like not knowing it was fake and everything, just it was like a practice grenade. He jumped on that while everybody else ran away from it. So it shows you his heart, like what the kind of person he is.
So that was my favorite part. I don't know if you agree with me or not. But
I agree with you, but for me, the best scene of the movie was, it's actually, like you said, it's hard to pick, but through this whole movie, it's pretty much the ending where Steve wakes up 70 years in the future. I thought if you watch this movie without having ever seen anything in the MCU, like this was the first Marvel movie you decided to watch, you'd think, oh, okay, it's just like a super soldier guy during World War II and everything else. And then he basically dies. He plunges into the ice to take down that big plane, Red Skull's big like plane thing, the Valkyrie, to stop it from blowing up like New York City or whatever. And we find out that he actually got frozen in the ice. You'd think at the end of this, oh, he's probably dead or whatever. I mean, I guess technically at the very beginning of the movie, it shows that they kind of find his shield in the ice or whatever. But if you ignore that part, you kind of just think, oh, the movie's over here. But then all of a sudden it cuts to like Steve wakes up and he's in this facility. He hears an old baseball game on the radio from that time period
that he was actually at. That's how he knew it wasn't.
But you find out that he's in like a shield base type thing, and they were trying to make him think he was still in what would that be, like the 40s?
I think so, yeah.
But here it's been 70 years, so he was frozen in ice for 70 years and just found. He escapes the facility, everything else, and he runs into Nick Fury outside in the streets. All of a sudden, New York City is the modern New York City that we know. Right. And I just thought this was, like, the most interesting part, because now it's like, well, what happens next? Like, there's all this stuff that he missed out on. I thought of it from, like, the perspective of somebody who's never seen, like, who doesn't know that this is connected to other things yet and all this other stuff. So for me, personally, if I was just coming in and seeing this, that's the scene that probably would have left me wanting more. Right. Because it does set up things like, who's this guy with the eye patch? Right. Why is this 70 years in the future? What does this mean for Steve Rogers now? And things like that.
I mean, I agree with you, for that. And like I said, that could have been the best part to me too. This whole movie was good.
Yeah, it was.
But, it's one of those things that it's like, even if it didn't like necessarily stand out, it was still really important, because this was the first time we saw Captain America in the modern day. And if you had watched the rest of the MCU, where Iron Man was, and he mentioned his father Howard, and then you watch Captain America and they mention Howard Stark, and so you're like, well, where does this fit in? If this was in the 40s or during World War II, whatever time period that was, how does this fit into the current timeline of the MCU? And then you watch that final scene. It's like, well, that's how he gets here, because it
did a good job of having that, like, this is a serious moment. Like, how would you feel if you fell asleep and all of a sudden you wake up and it's years into the future and you missed, like, 70 years of your life?
And he didn't get to dance with Peggy Carter.
I mean, just for, like, you can kind of feel, like, what would he be thinking in this moment? Now everything's all of a sudden, like, more advanced. Now you get this New York City. It's like, okay,
I think he had no clue where he was.
I think that would be kind of scary. Waking up like that. But let us know what you guys think down in the comments. If you're a fan of Captain America the First Avenger and you've watched it before, what do you think was the best moment from this movie? We'd love to hear your opinion down in the comments section. And also be sure to like and subscribe for more, because every week we're going to be talking about every movie in the MCU every Saturday here on our channel. So stick around for that if you're a Marvel fan.
Yeah, the good and the bad of the MCU.
All the best and worst MCU movies and everything else.
Because even the worst movies have a best moment.
Pretty much. Yeah, every movie has at least one good moment, and that's what we're here looking at while we rewatch the MCU. So next Saturday we'll be talking about Captain Marvel, and picking out the best moment from that movie. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll see you in the next one, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Subscribe.